40.9% of people reported at least one adverse mental or behavioral health condition during the pandemic, with 30.9% reporting anxiety or depression. 26.3% had symptoms of a trauma and stressor-related disorder, and 13.3% have started or increased substance abuse to cope with the stress of emotions related to COVID-19. If you're finding that your overthinking has increased since the pandemic started, and maybe even since the second wave has begun, then you're definitely not alone. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you some techniques that you can use to slow down your brain waves so that you can actually get into a state of peace and calm, so you can feel better now. And when you feel better, you'll start to think better thoughts as well. Also, if you're tired of overthinking and feeling like you're wasting your time, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, because on this channel I talk about ways that you can stop overthinking so you can get to that abundance and that freedom that you want faster. So I actually used to be a hypochondriac. I was never diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I had it, because anytime some type of pain came up or a cough came up, or maybe something kind of like a redness showed up on my body out of the blue, the first place I would go would be cancer or some type of really crazy, death disease. So, and of course you would go to Google and start to look up the symptoms, and let's be honest, that never really helps the problem in the way that you think. Within my own journey, I was able to significantly reduce all of that worrying and hypochondriac traits within myself, to the point where now I actually, within this whole pandemic, I was never really worried at all. So let me actually explain to you how I was able to overcome this, and how you can actually implement these tips to be able to stop your overthinking and stop the worry and the stress and the depression and anxiety that kind of unfolds because of the overthinking and the pandemic. So before we actually get into the steps, there's something that we really need to touch on that pave the way for the peace and calm. And basically what that is the whole idea of spontaneous remission, and how it's becoming more and more prevalent in a lot of people's lives right now that end up either having cancer or diseases or blindness. And you can really check out any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's testimonials, because the work that he does with people that are undergoing some of the worst health conditions possible, and being able to heal them through meditation and through this type of quantum alignment work, is inspiring and motivating, and showing you what's really possible. Why this is possible goes back to quantum physics, and more specifically, if you want to understand this, looking up the double slit experiment. And I will link that up in the cards as well as the description below if you want to watch the video yourself to get a better idea of what is happening. This study, the double slit experiment, proves that there are actually an infinite amount of possible outcomes happening all at the same moment in time for any given situation in time. And this is very hopeful for anybody that is either suffering through COVID, or has had it and recovering but still has the side effects of it, or any other illness for that matter, because you can reverse it. You can connect to complete wellness and health. You can connect to complete health and wellness and recovery, and be able to get to an even better state of health than how you were before, just through the proper work. And the reason that this is possible is because your ideal health is in that possible outcome out of the infinite amount of possible outcomes happening in the quantum field right now. So if you want to heal, if you want to be healthy, if you want to recover from something, all you have to do is connect to that possible outcome within the quantum field by connecting to those thoughts, connecting to that way of feeling, connecting to that way of being. So the habits and the way that you walk around and just getting into that energy of it, So through that work, you can actually reverse anything. Anything that you end up having is reversible. So if we know that everything is reversible, there's not much more that we need to actually worry or stress about, because even if you do catch it, you can still do the work to heal yourself from it. Now, if we were to relate that back to COVID and just the fears and anxiety around that, when you're constantly worrying and stressing about whether you're going to get it or not, and if you're feeling like you're out of control, either with your thoughts, feeling like you're out of control of the thoughts that you want to think, or if you feel like you don't have control over whether you catch it or not, what outcome do you think that you're aligning to in that moment of those fears and anxiety? And that's not to say that you need to be perfect all the time, but what is your more dominant state? What state can you say, I am in trust or belief, I am in health 80 to 90% of the time? Or am I in fear and anxiety and depression 80 to 90% of the time? Your more dominant state is the state that ends up manifesting. So if you want to avoid catching COVID, or if you want to recover from it, then connecting to that outcome that you want is how you do it. And a great example of this is the placebo, because I think the percentage is actually 80% of the people that take the placebo end up being healed, not because the sugar pill or the saline injection cures them, but because of their belief in it. So knowing this alone, that anything is reversible, as well as you can avoid certain outcomes just by not aligning to it, gave me more confidence in my ability to align to health and wellness and not feel like I don't have control and that sickness just pops up out of nowhere, because nothing happens for no reason, right? So if something happens, it's because you're a match to it. You have full control over whether you align to the health and wellness that you want. But the thing about overthinkers is that overthinking causes really fast brain waves, and the faster the brain waves are, the more analytical you are, and the harder it is to get into a state of peace and calm because your brain is just going. And overthinkers know this. They know that their brain is going at a much faster pace because they literally feel their brain just working. And I know I've felt that myself too, where I'd get into this state where I just feel like my mind is just working so hard, and you can like almost feel the gears turning. So if you want to stop overthinking so that you can align to health and wellness, the first thing you need to do is slow down your brain waves. And the tips that I have to come are going to show you how you can actually do that. So let's get into the tips. So the first tip is meditation, and everybody knows that meditation is amazing for bringing peace and calm and relaxation to you. Now, if you're wanting to slow down your brain waves, it doesn't take much. Like, you don't have to do any fancy type of meditation in order to slow down your brain waves. You can do something as simple as just sitting or lying with your eyes closed and just going and relaxing each of the different body parts. And the more that you get into that relaxed state, the slower your brain waves will get. And if you can stay and get your body used to that relaxed state of being, it'll be easier for you to remain there throughout the day as well. Do you have a go-to meditation that always works for you and always gets you into a relaxed state? Let me know which one you do below. The second tool that you can use to start to slow down your brain waves and bring peace and calm to your life right now is simply just breathing deep, slow, deep breaths. And the reason that this is so effective is because you only breathe deeply when you're in a place of being safe and feeling safe. When you're in survival mode and you are running for your life, or you're doing something that you're feeling stressed out about, you're not taking slow, deep breaths. But if you can actually start to slow down your breath, breathe deep from the core of your gut and hold it at the top and really just connect to your breath even more, you're slowing down your brain waves and you're telling your brain you are safe. So if you notice that you're in this anxiety and this overthinking stage and your thoughts are going on this hamster wheel, stop what you're doing, stop what you're thinking, and just focus on your breath. Focus on breathing deeply, counting with your breathing as well, so you can put your mind and your thoughts onto something specifically so that you can take your mind off of anything that you're worrying about. This way you can slow down your brain waves and then you can start to think logically again. And the last tip that I have for you to creating peace and calm right now is actually connecting to the people that make you laugh, or even just videos that make you laugh in general. Laughing is the quickest way to pull yourself out of that anxiety and that lower states of being, because when you're laughing, that means you're having a good time and it means your mood is lifted. Call somebody up that you know always makes you laugh. Go to YouTube or Netflix. Like, YouTube is my go-to. Anytime I notice my mood is starting to drop, I go to YouTube. Tons of cat videos out there. Anything that you find funny is on YouTube. So if you can find something on YouTube that makes you laugh and you can actually laugh, it'll start to lift your mood up. And as your mood gets lifted, you will start to feel better. And when you feel better, you become a magnet to better feeling thoughts as well. And it's really as simple as that. Those are the 3 tools that I have for you. I want you guys to try it out for at least 7 days if you're finding that your overthinking is kind of getting the best of you and you're getting into that state of anxiety and depression. And don't forget to like this video if it made you feel hopeful, and share it to your friends and anyone else that is in this pattern of ruminating and anxiety and depression over the second wave and COVID in general. And if you want more videos to be able to help you with your confidence, to be able to feel better about yourself, then check these ones out as well. And I'll see you in the next video.